Hey folks, here's wishing you a very happy new year and welcome to a brand new episode of Smart Money. In fact, this is the first episode of the new year 2021 and we have many more to come. On this week's episode, we're going to talk about a very popular topic. In fact, a lot of you have written to us saying that you've just joined the stock markets a while back and you want to know where you can get financial data. In fact, where do you source the data from? So my guest today is the very popular finance YouTuber Rachna Ranade. She joins us now. Of course, we had her the last time around as well. And since then, we meet again to discuss this important topic. Rachna, thanks so much for being with us on the show. Happy New Year to you and your team. This is a very important topic, as I said. Everyone wants to know where to look for financial data, but you tell us, first of all, Happy New Year to you. And where does one really source all the financial data from?
Absolutely. First of all, Happy New Year to you too, Sonia, your entire CNBC team and all the viewers of CNBC TV 18 as well. Hope this year brings in more and more prosperity and financial literacy to the masses. Coming to your main question about where do we really source the financial data from, there are a bunch of websites which are available. So just to name a few, NSE India is one of the most popular websites. We also have BSE India website. If I talk about few more websites, we can also have websites like Money Control, Screener.in, or if I'm talking about mutual funds, again we have a very good screener on mutual funds on the Money Control website as well. We have Value Research website, Advisor Coach website. Very important is that all these websites you get data free of cost. Because many people ask me the same question on my YouTube channel as well, that Rachna, where do you get this data from? They are under the impression that whether I pay for all this data to get exclusive content or not, but that's not true. A lot of data is available free online. It's just that you need to know how to interpret that data.
Okay, and that's why we've invited you today on our show, Rachna, because there's so much data available for free, but no one knows where to pick it from, right? That's the most popular question. Even I get asked, where can I find the data? Because since the lockdown, a lot of people have entered into the stock market, made demat accounts for the first time. So they're looking to sort of improve their own financial literacy. So can we just try and pick one or two of these portals and, just try and deep dive into what you can find where? If you had to pick two portals for us, which ones would they be?
Okay, so what I'll do, I'll try to divide this into two main parts. One is where can you find the overall data and one is company specific data. So if I'm talking about overall data, I think NSE India website is very good because it's as simple as this. Just Google it out, nseindia.com. You hit enter, that's where you'll land on the homepage of NSE India website. Just scroll down and once you scroll till roughly the half of the website, that's where you will see three most important points is what I believe. The very first one is corporate announcements. So just to give you quick examples on this, like today is the first day of January and that's where most of the automobile companies might have declared their auto sales numbers. So where do you get this data from? You'll get this from corporate announcements. Second one is about board meetings data. That also you'll get on the same website. So again today Avenue Supermarts has mentioned that they are going to have a board meeting where they'll review the standalone and the consolidated unaudited financial results of the company for the 9 months ended data. Where will you get this? Again same in the board meeting tab of NSE India website. Third one is corporate actions. So just to give again one example, like let's say some company is declaring a dividend or bonus, you can get this data on NSE India website. So again let me just sum it up quickly for you. Just go onto the website nseindia.com, scroll down, that's where you get all this data and again free of cost.
Okay.
Second, if I were to talk about company specific information, I think Money Control is a very good website for that. And let's say I want to know about Polycab as a share. So I just go on to moneycontrol.com. There's a search bar on the right hand side corner. You just have to type out Polycab, scroll down, and that's where you'll get a bunch of information about Polycab.
Okay, so I think on your screen you can see right now how to navigate through the Money Control website. You were just showing us what all you can find, right? Now, I want to come back to the first thing you were saying about the different websites, and I'll then go back to Money Control. Which is the easiest to navigate according to you? And apart from NSE, BSE, the ones which we know, Money Control, any other new ones that have come up, not only websites, even apps that people can perhaps download to find more financial information?
Yeah. So other than Money Control, BSE, NSE, one of my favorite websites is Screener.in. well, this is not a paid review of Screener. It's an honest review about Screener.in, that it is really a genuinely good website. That's where you can actually filter out data. So just in case if I want to find out a company which has more than 15% ROE, a company which has like zero debt, a company which has consistent profit for last, let us say, 6 quarters, I can actually type out my conditions on the Screener website. I just hit enter, and all the hard work is going to be done by Screener.in. They'll just filter out the data and the result will be ready-made for me. So I'll get the data without doing a lot of analysis. I just need to type out my conditions, hit enter, and I get all the data of companies which satisfy all the conditions.
Okay, great. So coming back to Money Control then, you were telling us about, if you pick out a company, say a Polycab, you get all the information. How else can you sort of drill deep down into Money Control? What else do you find there?
Yeah, so going back to the point, so if I've put up Polycabs in the search tab, and again if you just scroll down, you'll see a lot of information, like you'll see overview, you'll see chart, MC insights, MC technicals, price volume. You'll get a lot of information on the home page of that specific stock itself. If you ask me, one of my favorite areas there, it is MC Essentials. So I'll just quickly tell you what is MC Essentials. It's a Money Control Essentials. That's nothing but like a checklist for any specific company. So it's something like, before you invest in any company, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these are few points you have to check before you invest into that company. So what Money Control has done is that they have divided this entire checklist into 4 major parts. So like the first one is financials. So in financials, let's say I'm just giving you one example of each. Like in P&L, profit and loss, is the company making consistent profits or not? If I'm talking about balance sheet, if the company has low debt or not? If I'm talking about cash flow, whether they are having good operations or operating cash flows or not? If I'm talking about the ownership of the company, are the owners, are the promoters holding a good amount of shares in the company? Are the shares pledged or not? If I'm talking about industry comparison, is the company performing better than the industry average or not? There are so many points which are covered in the format of a checklist. But what is better in this is that what Money Control does is that they give you a pass percentage. Okay, so out of all these checklists, which all points get ticked out, they'll have a percentage criteria for that, and again that is also available on the screen. So for example, Polycabs has like an 81% pass percentage. So my personal filter is that if any company hits 80% and above, I definitely take up that for my own analysis.
Okay, so that is on, all right. So Money Control Essentials and Money Control Technicals is what we've covered. Anything else that you get on Money Control itself? I mean, we talk about a lot of research. People look for research, right? People look for financials, people look for price and volume.
Yes.
What else can you pick up, and can you give us some examples?
True. Sure. Actually, right now I talked only about Money Control Essentials. In technicals also, Money Control has good indicators, like how is the moving average indicator posted right now, what are the Fibonacci levels. All these you will get then and there itself. They will rate it accordingly, whether it is a buy or a sell thing. I have covered all these terms on my YouTube channel, so I can definitely give a call to action here, that if you want to know more about these terms, you can check it out on my YouTube channel. I have covered these terms in detail. Going ahead with the broker's research reports. So just in case if an individual doesn't know really how to research about a specific company, it's always better you read research reports of someone else. So you again have a separate tab like broker's research. So if you again check for Polycab, you have a research coverage by Sher Khan, Yes Securities, ICICI Direct, Dolat Capital, Sher Khan, again one more of Dolat Capital. So you can just at least read their research reports and try and understand on what basis are they recommending that particular stock. So if you see that today, if I'm not mistaken, Polycab price is somewhere around 1040. So still some air is left according to Sher Khan as well as Yes Securities, a little bit about, so that's how you can get to know about what is the expected target price as per these big brokerage houses.
Are any of these...
we can get the broker research reports.
Sure, sure. No, I was just looking at the screen. Actually, they're showing you the tab where you get broker research on Money Control. Are any of these paid, or are all of these research reports on Money Control available for free?
So there is one thing where there's a small fee also, which Money Control has, like a pro or a premium feature available. Some of these will be available at a paid cost, but again majority of this will be free of cost. So you can definitely have a look at these majority of these at free of cost.
Okay, great. So the next thing we're looking at is insider transaction summary. Now tell us where to find this insider transaction summary and how does it help? Because, you know, I'm looking at the, I mean, it'll come up for our viewers as well on the screen. Say you have insider transactions of Shashi Amin, Pulak Party. These are different transactions that take place. How do you use, okay, this is what we are referring to. First of all, where do you find this on the website? And second of all, how do you use this to your benefit?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, again, the very first tab, whenever we saw that overview wala screen, in that itself you will see insider transaction summary. Okay, so no need to search anywhere. Again, let me just quickly repeat. You search Polycab, scroll down a little bit, and you'll see a bunch of parameters there itself. So somewhere to the extreme right, you will see insider transaction summary. If you click on that, it will automatically navigate to this specific screen. So how I look at it, I'll tell you. So for example, if all these examples are like employees are selling shares of this company, that doesn't bother me a lot. But if promoters are selling a lot of shares, it means that is it something like promoters themselves are not really comfortable holding the shares of the company? So it's kind of a red flag for me when I do my own analysis. If employees are selling their stake, that doesn't bother me a lot. So whenever I check out this tab specifically, I just try to see that not major promoters are selling off or offloading a chunk of their shares in the market.
Okay, that's very important information actually. We should, I mean, we focus so much on financials, right? Even this is another important thing. Coming to financials, we have a tab financials, there's a tab price and volume, there's also a tab of shareholding. Now tell us how to read through, which is the stock that you're referring to in this particular quote and how would you sort of, you know, navigate through it?
Sure. So if you go to the financials tab, you have again two tabs. So one is like a consolidated and one is standalone. So just for all the newbies in the stock market, standalone will be like the company, just the company. But if I'm talking about consolidated, it will be the company plus all its associates, subsidiaries, all put together as a consolidated financial statements. So here in the financials tab, you can see overview, income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, as well as ratios. So some basic thumb rules can be, you can see whether the revenue numbers are constantly going up or not, or is there a specific pattern or not. I won't love to see a company which has like a zigzag revenue numbers. So there's no specific direction in which the revenue numbers are going. So I personally prefer a company which has like a complete ascending pattern revenue numbers. I also check out the net profit numbers. So there may be a case where revenues are going up, but the net profits are going down. So again, that can be an alert point for me. I would also check the EPS, and the best part is all these things are given in a graphical presentation. So even if you're not comfortable looking into the numbers, you know, some people get very scared of these numbers. I'm sure you might have seen Tare Zameen Par, in which when it comes to so many numbers, these numbers start coming out of the books floating, and you know, people get scared of these numbers. So nothing like that. It's seen in the graphical format. So it's a pleasant thing to watch for all the newbies. It's very easy to analyze whether it's in an increasing trend or in the decreasing trend.
Okay, talking about graphical format, there's one more tab, right? Shareholding. Now, I mean, me and you have tracked shareholding patterns of companies for years, but for newbies, what does this mean, this whole graph, and how would you sort of navigate through it?
So if you are able to see this graph on the screen right now, you can see that for this company, a majority of the chunk is held by the promoters of the company. A simple thumb rule is that if promoters hold a lot of stake in their own company, it shows the confidence of the promoters in their company. Of course, that can be professionally run companies as well. But if I'm talking about a traditional business, then in that case, promoters holding should be good. Second thing that I generally check is how much is the FII and the DII holding, because you know there could be some companies where retail holding is pretty much high, but DIIs are not investing in that company. So a simple thumb rule for a new investor can be that if FIIs and DIIs have not invested in the company, it means that they are yet to get confidence about that company. Then should I really risk out my money and go into that company or not? So it's better that you have a good amount of FII, DII holding as well, and then you may think of entering in the company based on other parameters as well. One more very important point that you can see in this same thing is that how much percentage of the promoter's stake is pledged. So again, a simple thumb rule, if more percentage of their stake is pledged by the promoters, is definitely not a good sign. I personally would stay away from companies which have a big pledged shareholding.
Okay, all right. We still have one more tab to run through, which is peer comparison, which interests me the most because there are plenty of tabs there. But you know what? We have to take a commercial break, so I'm going to do that. This is a really interesting session. How to navigate through websites, where to get all the free data that you can use for your investment calls. So don't go anywhere. Come back in just a moment on Smart Money. Welcome back, folks. You're watching Smart Money, and we are trying to find out how to access all that free financial data that you get online and how to use it to your advantage while making your investment decisions. We've been speaking with Rachna Ranade. Rachna, you told us all about how to navigate the NSE website, the Money Control website for stocks. But let's talk mutual funds, because we get asked all the time, how do I track my mutual fund? What is the screener that I use and what are the parameters? How do we start? Tell us.
Yeah, so whenever it comes to mutual funds, I'm sure everyone will the first line which will come to mutual funds is mutual fund sahi hai. And now what I always tell people is that mutual fund sahi hai, instead of a full stop, always put a question mark whether mutual fund sahi hai or not. So all mutual funds might not be suitable for everyone. So what is important, you should try to find out a mutual fund which suits you. So that mutual fund is not good or bad. That mutual fund might not be good for you for your risk appetite. So what you should do is you should find out mutual funds which suit you, your investor profile. So for that, I think mutual fund screener, which is available again on Money Control website, is again a good way, is a good tool available on the Money Control website itself. So just for you to understand how to go there, again simple, go to moneycontrol.com. There's a mutual funds tab out there. So you just have to click on mutual funds tab, and then there itself you will see the mutual fund screener tab. In the mutual fund screener tab, you'll again see a host of different sub-parameters, like which is the mutual fund house, what is the fund category, what are the fund rank and ratios, what are the different fund parameters, and what are the investment parameters. So you have to have a look at all these parameters and then only invest. So if you put the screener properly, then it will help you to filter out the mutual fund that really suits you, which is sahi for you.
Okay, so now this page looks a bit cluttered, okay? For someone who's perhaps joining for the first time or going onto this page for the first time, there are almost 100 funds listed there and so much data. If I had to put the top 5 screeners to understand how my mutual fund works, which ones would they be?
Okay, so first of all, I generally go ahead with a fund house. Okay, so I always tell the retail individual investors that invest in something which you know, and I think I had told the same point in my previous episode as well. So out of all these mutual fund houses, if you have never ever heard about any of these houses, don't make your first investment in a mutual fund house that you have never even heard of. So a very base parameter can be, have you ever heard about this mutual fund house or not, which is about the fund house. There you can just tick out the mutual funds you know, the fund houses that you know. The second one is a fund category, which if you switch the tab, you can go into the fund category. In that you have 3 major fund categories. One is pure equity funds, one is a debt fund, and one is like a hybrid fund. So a pure equity fund will be like a mutual fund which will take your money and invest in pure equity. A debt mutual fund will be the one which will take your money and invest in various debt instruments. And as the word hybrid says, a part of your money will go in equity and a part will go into debt. So I believe that if you are a person who is ready to take risks, then, because you know these days the moment I say risk, everyone says risk hai to isk hai. Nothing, no other line comes up to people's mind. So if you are ready to take a little bit of risk, then I think equity funds, pure equity funds can also be your cup of tea. If I go to the third one is fund ranks. In that fund rank and ratios, Money Control has given certain ranks. Okay, so like a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star rating. So like your movie ratings, you have a mutual fund rating. So you can obviously click on a 4-star rating and a 5-star rating to select a filter. And you also have certain ratios. You have a ratio like Jensen's alpha, standard deviation, a trainer's alpha, beta. But again, the problem is that when all these terms come up, standard deviation, beta, again the newbies get confused as to what is the meaning of all these ratios. So just to simplify these terms, I have also come up a course on magic of mutual funds, which actually explains all these terms, all these ratios in detail, which will help again the newbies to understand the meaning of all these ratios, right? So you can also search based on the ratios. So just to give you a simple example, standard deviation. I, as a cricket loving person, always loved Dravid rather than Sehwag, because Dravid shows a good consistency, who doesn't have a lot of deviation from the standard. For Virendra Sehwag, it will be like 300, 300 and direct zero. So if you are not ready to take a lot of risk, you have to choose a fund which has a low standard deviation. This will ensure that the returns are more or less similar over the period of years, right? One more parameter is whether you want to go ahead with open-ended fund or a close-ended fund. You can also filter out funds with AUMs greater than a specific size. So just in case if you don't know what is AUM, AUM is an asset under management, how much big the fund house is. In the same course which I have taken, Magic of Mutual Funds, I have given this small example. Let me just quickly give you that example. That when you are on a highway and you have to choose where do you stop for lunch, a simple thumb rule is that we generally check which is the restaurant which has highest number of cars parked in the parking. If you see more cars parked, it means that that restaurant might be popular. That is what is loved by many people. That's where you can also try out. Same goes for AUM. So if a fund AUM is high, it means that more and more people are showing confidence in that mutual fund, and that is where if majority people are investing their money, why can't I? So that's how you can have certain basic thumb rules to go ahead with your first sort of investment. And of course, all these, there can be many more filters as well. But I think these are the top 5 filters which I would like to go ahead with.
You know, I've tracked mutual funds for years and I've used several screeners, but this was an amazing refresher for me as well. And I'm sure a lot of our new investors who have just entered the market, it'll be a great great course for them, how to sort of use your top 5 screeners in order to make sure that the mutual fund that you've picked is right or not. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. We would have loved to chat some more and it was very educational, but we will do it another time, Rachna, I assure you. Thank you so much for joining us and hope you have a great, successful, prosperous and more importantly, healthy 2021.
Absolutely. Same to you, Sonia, and all the viewers of CNBC TV 18 as well. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot for joining us. Well, that's curtains down on our first edition of Smart Money in 2021. What a great refresher, right, on the fact that you should invest your money in mutual funds. Perhaps that's the way to go for the long-term investor. With that, it's curtains down on Smart Money. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great weekend.